Welcome to this Privacy Rules, Privacy Espresso. Today I'm joined by our expert from Thailand, from the law firm Silk Legal, and I'm pleased to be with Salinthip Anpattanakul and Peeraporn Panklai, and we are going to discuss a bit together about the privacy regulation in Thailand. So without further delay, I would like to turn it over to you, Salinthip and Peeraporn, asking a bit more about your firm and the PDPA.
Thank you for the introduction, and we are very happy to be here talking to you today. My name is Salinthip Anpattanakul, and as Senior Associate of Silk Legal.
And I'm Peeraporn Panklai, an Associate at Silk Legal.
Before we start talking about our topics today, I would like to give you a brief information of Silk Legal, which is a boutique law firm based in Bangkok, Thailand. We focus on several legal matters, but our key practice area is like corporate and commercial restructuring, insolvency, M&A, and regulatory compliance, which shall be our topic today on the PDPA. Ms. Peeraporn will give you some background knowledge about our PDPA to start.
Okay, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. We are really excited to share with you about our new legislation. As you know, that Thailand is a highly connected country with rapidly developing digital economy. So having recognized this, Thai government has enacted a number of regulations that aim to protect users and hold different stakeholders accountable. So many of which address the question of data privacy to various degrees, such as Criminal Code, Computer Crime Act, Electronic Transaction Act, Financial Institution Act, Telecommunication Businesses Act, and Payment System Act. But the primary piece of legislation that is deal directly with data privacy is the Personal Data Protection Act, or PDPA, which is not fully enforced yet. It is expected to be enforced in 2022 after being delayed twice due to COVID-19. What exactly is PDPA? PDPA is a piece of legislation that sets out various data protection rules that enhance how people can access information that is rightfully theirs and places limitation on what company and other stakeholders can do with them. It is based on European GDPR and applies similar rules and fines for handling personal data. The PDPA is mainly concerned with personal data, which is defined as information that directly or indirectly identify a living person, such as legal name, biometric data, username, physical address, sexual orientation, IP address, or race. And like GDPR, Thailand PDPA recognizes and enshrines the right of the data subject, such as right to be informed, right to erasure, right to withdraw consent, right to data portability, right to restriction of processing, and right to correct personal data. Who does PDPA applies to? PDPA applies to people or organizations that process personal data and operate in Thailand or sell goods and services to Thailand residents.
Next is going to be what PDPA entails for the businesses. As PDPA has set out hefty penalty and stringent punishment for people or organizations not complying with PDPA. Then once the Act has been promulgated in May 2019, it does significantly raise awareness on the duty and responsibility of themselves for using or collecting personal data. And this is not only for the business sector, but it is also give us data subject a knowledge of their own rights over their personal data usage. So once this act has been promulgated, the business entity are aware and try to develop their infrastructures and the system to comply with the act and having data security system in place. but this act has been promulgated since 2019, and because of the pandemic have been postponed twice. So the problems, the issues that happen at the moment is not many company or the business sector really be ready to comply for the requirements. For example, some they don't have like a proper draft personal data protection policy in place, or still don't have sufficient data security system as stipulated by the PDPA. And some they also don't know or are not appointed data protection officer yet, which is a key role who will monitor like the data use, the personal data usage of the company, and also monitor the leakage and inform or report to the management level. So this is like the current situation that the business sector need to be aware and prepare for.
Perfect, Salinthip. Indeed so. And in relation to that, is the PDPA only applicable to registered company in Thailand, or it's also applicable across borders?
The provisions of the PDPA, it is also extraterritorial to reach like the company situated or registered abroad, but serve Thai market or the Thai resident in Thailand. So for this point, we would like to give a tips because under the PDPA, this cross-border data transaction should be governed and stipulated under a proper data processing agreement, which shall stipulate the obligation, duties, and responsibility between the data processor and the data controller across border.
Okay, perfect. That's really useful, I think, for a company that may fall under this regulation. So speaking about these, how should businesses gear up for PDPA? How to prepare?
The key step like that we would encourage is have the data protection policy and having sufficient data security system or equipment in place for collecting, processing, transferring the personal data that the company would obtain from like many sources. For example, the employee personal data also has been protected under the PDPA as well. And the company should ensure that the appointment of data protection officer or DPO, which is the key role, who gonna take part on monitoring and report to the management. We would suggest the one who will be this position should be the one who proficient in data protection system and also has a robust understanding on PDPA provisions. And the company should also have set up a training session to their own employee.
Okay, perfect. Very good tips. My last question for today is the one related to data breaches. So what are the steps that companies should take?
Once the data breach happens, the first suggestion is stop using the system and start investigate the data breach to find out where it's happened and how. Try to ensure that all like backdoor has been closed to prevent it happen again. And once the leakage has been noticed, the DPO will have a duty to immediately report this to the management team, who will need to take immediate action by contacting the affected customer or stakeholders and the corresponding authorities within 72 hours after the leakage has been found, as we don't know when the data breach will be happen, right? So we would encourage our clients to have effective plans in advance. So then once it happens, you will know the next step that we need to do.
Absolutely. Let me each hope that you really don't have time to start working on privacy compliance after the breach happens. But we ran out of our time. So I really thank you for being with us today. And I also thank our listeners, hoping to meet you all next Thursday. Bye, everyone.